Peace and love. Good morning and happy Lover's Day. I decided to come on here. I haven't been on here in a while to do a reading, to do a special soulmate reading today. And we'll go ahead and get started. How are you feeling? How have things been going for you? How's your healing coming along? My soulmate readings are different here. It's not necessarily about two people who are ultimately coming together. It's about two people who are working to understand their spiritual work, understand their soul's desires. Sometimes two people are meant to be together, and sometimes they're meant to learn lessons from each other, and they move on. Sometimes people learn the lessons, sometimes people never learn the lessons, and that's the hardest thing when it comes to without talking about spiritual partnerships, which means that two people are destined to come here and work on spiritual missions. And we all are pretty much doing a spiritual mission. But it's a high-level spiritual mission. And so what happens in those instances, somebody normally will be really sensitive, and they'll be able to sense that energy when they encounter their soulmate. Sometimes we don't encounter them on the physical plane. Sometimes it can be spiritual. But if we can encounter them on this physical plane, somebody will have a sense of it. They both can have a sense of it. Because really a spiritual partnership is a meeting not necessarily of the physical body, but it's the spiritual body. It's a meeting of the spiritual body. So what you're really sensing is that person's essence. So even if they're not carrying themselves in a way that you understand or that you agree with, we always want to believe in the power of the higher self. And so when you encounter your spiritual helpmate, you're encountering that energy, that initial energy of the higher self. The person might not be vibrating at that frequency, but if you have a sensitivity, if you have a spiritual sensitivity, you should be able to sense that. Sometimes we sense things that aren't there, and so you have to be careful of that. That's why you always want to be spiritually aware and spiritually attuned to who you are. That's why when we talk about spiritual relationships, we're really talking about the relationship between ourselves first and foremost. It is through the relationship with ourselves and that loving relationship and that healing relationship with self that you're able to discern proper relationships with other people. And then also the ultimate relationship is really between you and the Creator, the Most High, whatever however you feel that to be for you. And so when you are working in tandem with the self, when you're working in tandem with the Most High energies, when you're working in tandem with your guides, you're able to use proper discernment. And if you're not, your guides will lead you in the right direction. So my readings are more about the soul of the individuals, because spiritual partnerships are extremely important, not because it's romantic in nature. A lot of times it is romantic in nature, but mostly too, people are here to do specific things, and you want to be in a certain vibration in order to do that work. And what happens is when you meet a spiritual partner, if you're lucky to be with your spiritual partner, the vibration or the energy of the two people is so similar to the point where the work can be done easily. The soul can be understood easily. On both, you understand each other, but you understand yourself. When you're with the person and you're within the wrong partnership, it's a interference. It's an interference with the soul, which means that it's a heaviness or it's a cloudiness or it's not clear. Your direction isn't clear. And those are the lessons. Those are the lessons that we're learning and that we're coming out of. So what I'm going to do is and you might hear my cat in the background, Ninja. She realizes I'm doing a reading, and so she's going to probably make as much noise as she can possibly make. And that's just the way it is. So let me move this aside. All right, and so I'm going to do one side for the masculine energy and one side for the feminine energies. And like I said, these are the energies. Whether you consider yourself masculine, feminine, that's not important. It's what you resonate with, or it's just the energetic frequency. Like I've talked about, we all want to be able to embody the masculine and feminine. We all want to be able to balance that within the self, okay? So the first we're going to lay 3 cards for the masculine energy. And Spirit, thank you. Thank you so much for the gift of life. Angels, thank you for your protection and your guidance. Ancestors, thank you so much for your courage, your strength, for your healing, for your direction. Most High, thank you. Thank you, higher self. Thank you, spirit guides, for walking with me, for walking with me and being with me. What energies do we have when it comes to loving ourselves and loving a partner? Because we want to love ourselves enough to love a partner properly. How do we get in alignment with ourselves, Spirit, so that we can move towards our partner? So that we can move towards our partner. Give me the energies for the masculine spirit. Thank you. For the masculine energy. That wanted to pop out there. And two more. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. All right. Give me some energies, 3 energies for this, for the feminine energy in the partnership. Thank you, angels. Thank you, guys. And we want to always work towards love, no matter what we're doing in life. We want to always work towards loving partnerships with the people around us. You know, it's not always about romance, but this is a romance. This is when we want to come together with somebody romantically. All right, let's see. And then we're going to... Okay. And so we have affection on the bottom here. Have affection on the bottom, which means that in this particular partnership here, there's love between both the people. They both have affection towards each other. All right, so for the masculine, we have love here. We have passion. This is some powerful energy. And we have duality. Okay. For the feminine energy, we have vitality. We have regeneration. Let's see it. A little bit of a glare. And we have victory. Okay. So let me take some time. I also want to get one of these. These are one of my favorite cards. The Divine Abundance. I'm going to pull one for the masculine energy and one for the feminine energy. This wanted to come out. Divine Source for the masculine energy, which means that the masculine needs to trust in the energy of the divine. Might need to pray. Might need to be pretty much trusting. It says, help me know that all my deepest needs will be met. Let me trust that you have a plan and the right actions will come. You are my source for all. So, let me get back to that. I'm going to get a message for the feminine energy. Thank you, Spirit. Courage. The feminine energy is told to have courage, and it says, let me be open to courageously take the steps that are shown. So that's following your intuition. That shows that you already know what you're doing. You already understand the path you're on. This is non-duality, and this was upside down. I don't do reversals, but it was upside down, so I want to talk about that. And it says here, let your authentic humanity shine forth while also bowing to the inner divine. You can become fluent at doing both. So this means that somebody is not allowing their true self to come forth, all right? Because it came in reversed. All right, so let's see. Let's take a look at the masculine energy here. Give me a few moments. Duality card. Okay. So that kind of makes me think about that non-duality card where the masculine is still struggling to come up out of a certain idea of who they are or who they think they are or who others think they are, you know. Duality deals with the light and with the dark. So it can be the idea of the masculine energy having clarity of the movement forward and having moments of not having clarity at all or having moments of being in a deep darkness. That's kind of what I get. This duality card with this bananas too tells, I mean, the way they bunched up, it makes me think that lots of people are involved here when it comes to the masculine energy and how they move forward in their spiritual work, that they're dealing with lots of people or they're allowing other energies to influence their movement forward. And that's when divine source comes in saying that you're not here to trust others. You're here to trust yourself and you're here to trust the source. And when you surrender to this energy of the source, not only will your intuition open up, not only will it be unlocked, but you will find yourself moving with ease. Because this duality card and the idea of not being able to access who you fully are, it could be your environment. That's a very painful energy. It's extremely painful. It's almost like being alone. You know, if you think about the light and the dark, it's almost like you're alone. Even if you're with people, you're alone because they're not able to understand where you're coming from. You're not able to understand where they're coming from, and so it pretty much becomes like a game, or it becomes an act or a show that you have to put on for others. That's what it makes me think about with this banana card. Maybe being sweet, maybe being too sweet in situations where you need to be a little more tart or a little more sharp in nature. Maybe bending, you know, think about that, bending too easily to others. Bending and then also too with that banana, these cards are new to me, so I'm just kind of going off that feel. That banana, that idea of that tough exterior, but that sweetness on the inside. So maybe needing to peel away that toughness to get to the vulnerability, you know? And not the vulnerability when it comes to others and being sweet and bending to others, but the vulnerability that comes to yourself and your needs and what you're here to experience. Loving yourself, being sweet to yourself, or allowing your sweetness to be hidden on the inside too. That's another way to look at it. Allowing your sweetness to be hidden on the inside, and protecting yourself from others and from that sweetness, if that makes any sense. I mean, we don't want to live our lives protecting ourselves in that manner, but we also need to know when we're able to share that with people, share that with others. Sometimes we can't share our sweetness with everyone. This also makes me think about that yellow. It makes me think about the solar plexus chakra, which means that that's this area, and it's the seat of the intuition. You wouldn't think it, but it's like that gut feeling. When you know that something's not right, sometimes if you don't think of the idea of psychic, messages, you can think of just, ooh, my stomach hurts, I'm getting nervous, or something doesn't feel right, I'm feeling uncomfortable in a situation. That's that solar plexus energy. That's that natural body energy that's saying that something's not right here. And so when we start to tap into that energy, we're able to discern situations better. There's love here. Okay? There's love here in the partnership. You wouldn't feel it. You wouldn't think about it if it wasn't love. It wouldn't be anything that passed your mind if it wasn't love. All right? When sometimes things we can become obsessive, but right now we're talking about divine partnerships, and we're talking about two people who have affection towards each other. All right? And we're talking about how to discern that. So this is a situation where there is love. All right? There is love here and passion here. And Spirit is saying that you can trust that. You can trust in your ability to love. You can trust in your ability to be passionate. You can feel safe in that, and then also that you deserve it. You deserve to be loved fully for who you are. You deserve to be able to express yourself passionately, the way that you express yourself. I get the feeling, and Spirit is saying, holding back who you are, holding back your energy, holding back your vibrancy, holding back your fire. I don't know, for fear of others, maybe they might be shocked, or maybe they might, but you know what, if they're so shocked, then they can move on. We don't want to be around people who hinder that true spirit and that true fire. These aren't people that we want to be around, because we can't access that information that we need to access when it comes to those direct messages from the Most High, from our angels, from our guides. When we have other people in our ears, when we're dealing with this energy where we're sweet to others but we're not sweet to ourselves. That's what it makes me think of. Sweet to others but not being sweet to yourself. Not believing that you should be tender. Not believing that you deserve someone to also give you sweetness. There's something about that here with me, with this card. Too attached as well, at the top there. Too attached. And I think about that skin, too attached and too rigid. Too rigid. And then the bananas are tight like that. So too attached, too rigid, and too closed. Like it's no space in between it. So too close to new ideas, too close to new energy. Like this. That's the energy I get from that. Needing to pull yourself away. This could be anything. This could be a work. This could be family. This could be anything. This is something that you're ultimately tied to, that you've put yourself in. You've tied yourself to something, and you don't see any space to free yourself. It's like there's no space here. Spirit says that you have to face the dark as well, which means facing the things that bring you fear and going on that unknown path here when it talks about, let me trust that you have a plan. It's okay to be it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to not understand the plan. It's okay to not understand everything. I think this is the idea where, you don't know everything. And in that case, you'll just stay tight here. Tight and hidden on the inside, And Spirit is saying that you do know something because there's affection, right? And you do know something because there's love. Even if the other person hasn't told you that there's love, you feel the love, right? We can discern those type of things. We can feel those things empathetically. We can feel those links, right? So if the other person hasn't said that there's love, do you feel that there's love, right? Do you feel that there's love? Do you feel that there's passion? Because in life, sometimes we have to make moves and we have to know things without necessarily knowing them. And we have to make moves accordingly. We won't get the blueprint, This person said this. This person's going to do this next week. This person's going to do this. But even with me reading cards, it doesn't work like that for me, You have to actively go through life. And realistically, you have to make changes that are best for you. Because we also are talking about healing ourselves and loving ourselves properly. If you are in a situation where you're not loving yourself properly, and loving yourself, in my opinion, is being able to fully be yourself, right? So if you're in a situation where you're not loving yourself properly, then you're not going to be able to have those moments of clarity enough. They're not going to come enough. They're not going to come frequently, right? Because you've attached yourself to things that aren't necessarily you, right? And you haven't given yourself any space to break away or any space to have any new vision or any new energy come through. Spirit is saying that you're passionate, right? Highly passionate. I just heard your power stems from your passion, right? So maybe in your true state, you have a wildness about you, right? It might be something wild about your character or how you express yourself in your true state that maybe others in the past, they haven't been able to really understand, or maybe they looked at you a certain way. The ones in your spiritual tribe, they will understand you. And maybe sometimes, I'm a lone wolf. So sometimes you might have just one person in your tribe, and sometimes you might just have people in the spirit realm, you know. Sometimes you're on your own. Sometimes you walk this path and you're on your own. I mean, of course, we're going to have our guides, and we're going to have people coming into our lives, giving us messages and bringing those friendships in and bringing in those connections. But I'm talking about really sometimes when you sit down and you really think about it, sometimes you have yourself, right? And so maybe it's something about your passionate nature that you're afraid to explore or open up here. That this is a root vegetable that makes me think about it being down in the dirt, like you've kind of lodged it down in the dirt, right? But the leaves are green and vibrant. The leaves are green and vibrant, so it's still growth there. It's still growth, but you just have to pull it up out of there. You have to pull it out. The vibrancy is saying that you're growing and that you're beautiful and that what you have to offer is nourishing, right? And also, too, I get this with this root vegetable, that they can survive in different conditions. Beetroot. Different conditions, soil conditions. So you have the ability to adapt to wherever you are. You have the ability to maneuver and to survive and to handle whatever life throws at you. You have a serious strength about you. But it's something about it that you keep hidden. You keep your passionate nature hidden. Spirit is telling me that your work is created through your passionate nature, right? You have to access that part of yourself in order to truly understand the path of your work. Does that make any sense? You have to rip the beetroot out of the soil. Another thing, too, about the beetroot, and this is me thinking about me personally, I'm not a big fan of beets. They don't really do it for me. But what's not good for somebody is good for someone else. So maybe it's something about your nature that might be difficult for other people, but for the right people and for the right circumstance, it's what's needed. It's the medicine that's needed, right? This tomato card, it's like a tomato, it's like a love that needs to be nurtured. It's a love that came fast too. That's what I get with that, because the tomato plant, I just got these cards, so I'm just and I don't read the books. I just get the cards and I kind of go with what I feel. I love fruits and veggies, so. But the tomato plant, if you've ever grown a tomato plant, it takes off. Like it starts small, and the next thing you know, it's overwhelming. It's kind of grown, outgrown the pot, or it's hanging off the side. And so it's a love that maybe came from out of nowhere, that makes any sense, with this tomato plant. Maybe it came from out of nowhere, and by the time you knew it, it was overwhelming. That's what I get from this plant. But also, too, the tomato is fragile and gentle. So it's a love that needs to be cared for, and it's a love that needs to be treated with the gentlest of hands, right? And so Spirit is also saying you need to treat yourself with the gentlest of hands. You need to love yourself and be gentle with yourself. Another thing about this tomato plant that makes me think of how quickly they can get disease and how quickly those the plant can decay or the fruits can go bad. It's all of that stuff, meaning that it needs to be tended to properly. It's a love that needs to be handled with gentle hands, and it's a love that needs to be tended to properly in order for it to grow, in order for the tomato to be this beautiful fruit, right? It needs to be cared for. And it's strong too. The love is strong because the tomato vines, the tomato stalks, they're extremely strong is in how they grow and how vigorous they are. But they're also, if you ever smell a tomato plant when you rub the leaves, they're also strong in smell, really pungent, right? So this is just making me think that the love is very strong. The love is very powerful. This is the love between these two people. The connection is very strong. It's very powerful. And it's a relationship that is sweet, gentle, and it needs to be nurtured. All right? Let's look at the feminine energy here. We have vitality and regeneration. And I can put my own, I can say something about this. I am worn out, you know? And I feel like I've talked about this before about being an empath, and not an empath in the trend people talking about, but actually a true empath. If a person is really an empath, they don't really go around talking about it. They just live their lives accordingly. And really living their lives will be trying to get as much peace and healing in private as they can, because the energies of others are very, very demanding. Very demanding. I have days where I don't even sleep. You know, I might get 3 or 4 hours. I don't want to go into that. So, but Spirit is saying that with this courageous card, this courage card, it says that you've been walking a path. You've been going in the direction that you need to go in. You've been following the guidance of Spirit. You've been following the guidance of your guides. You've been following the guidance of the Most High. All right. And so things are difficult here because we have this regeneration card, which means that, you know, you're going through moments where you're feeling depleted, right? And so you have this nature of the regeneration and the vitality, which is saying that you're coming up out of that. You're coming up out of that energy where you're feeling like things are heavy, things are unclear, things are weighing on you, because the vitality card is here, which is saying that you're moving into a higher energy. You're moving into a true understanding of your path. And I get that too, the regeneration. And then the snake here. That snake that's on the side. Maybe you've had to deal with certain people or certain environments. The snake also represents for me spiritual evolution or going through spiritual changes here. So maybe I feel like it's a sense that you've been going through some deep spiritual changes. And Spirit is asking you and telling you to just try to maintain your energy. Maintain your energy. There's a victory at hand here. So whatever's been going on here with this regeneration and this vitality, Spirit is saying that you've been moving in the right direction and that you're moving towards a victory, or that the victory is already here. That it's already here for you. And that you can now like celebrate it. Spirit is also saying too that your royalty, right, with that crown, and treat yourself accordingly, right? So treat yourself like a queen, no matter what this energy is doing over here, because we're all here to move in our own directions. At times we come together, and sometimes we won't, but still we still have to treat ourselves accordingly. And Spirit is saying treat yourself like a queen. Treat yourself like you deserve to be loved. Treat yourself like you've got the victory, right? Because you already have it. And so walk accordingly. And treat yourself to self-care, whatever that is for you, a good bath, um, maybe a walk outside, maybe a sweet treat or something that you like. So take care of yourself. I want to get a few more on these though. The regeneration, the vitality. This is also an instance where that fig makes me think about that sweetness that's on the inside. So it's similar to that, to the masculine way with the bananas, where there might be a tough exterior with this fig, but on the inside is so much sweetness. And maybe people don't notice that right away. Maybe it's something that takes time for them to understand it, right? But Spirit is saying that you're so sweet, and that because you're sweet, you need to care for yourself. Even though you can protect yourself here with this rind, or even though you can protect yourself, you still need to care for it and nourish the sweetness that's on the inside. Give me some more for the feminine energy, Spirit. You're also healing to, you're a healer, because I think about this tarragon, this herbal plant here. You have healing energy. You're able to heal many people here with all the different leaves there. You're able to extend yourself to many different people. And that's why this vitality comes in. Spirit is telling you to keep your energy up. And then also, too, is something coming your way that's going to require you to have courage as you move forward. Maybe you're moving into your spiritual work. Maybe you're moving into your higher purpose. Maybe you're moving in a different direction. For this card to come up, it means that something is happening in your life that requires you to really be brave right now. And to know, because you have the victory already, all right? So it's no questioning whether it's going to be okay. This vitality card still is making me think with this snake beside it that you're going to have to practice discernment and protect yourself. It's the same with the masculine energy. You have to know when to share your sweetness, and you have to know when to keep it hidden, right? It's just the way it is in life. Affection. This is the same card. So maybe you don't know that there's affection in the partnership. Maybe you haven't been told anything. Maybe you've gone strictly on your intuition, but the Spirit is saying that there's a deep affection between both of you, and to have affection towards yourself, right? To nourish yourself, to nourish your body, to nourish your mind, to treat yourself in the way that you want a partner to come in and treat you. Just to treat yourself good because you love yourself, right? Ritual here. So whatever rituals are good for you, whatever healing rituals are good for you. I made myself a salt bath last night, and I had petals, rose petals in it, calendula, and essential oils, and just can run a bath or whatever rituals. To light a candle and give thanks. You can get your journal out and you can do some journaling. You can do some painting. Whatever spiritual ritual that you have that brings you into alignment with your spiritual self and with your body. Spirit is saying you need to focus on the body. You need to focus on your body. And then we have the success card here at the bottom. The peppermint and the basil and the bay. These are all herbal energies. So it's still kind of getting me the idea that you have the ability to heal others in a way. You're able to give others a certain type of medicine, whatever that is. You would know what it is for you. This is my medicine here, what I'm doing. But you also have the ability to heal others with the medicine that you provide based on how Spirit has given it to you, right? We come here with those gifts. And these are powerful gifts here. Bay says wisdom. Basil says trust. And peppermint says success. These are all powerful herbs. Extremely powerful. Which means that you hold the power within yourself. It makes me think that you are the power. You're the walking power. If that makes any sense? That you're the walking power. Every step that you take is the power. You're the walking magician. You're able to create and you're able to manifest your reality too. But while doing that, you're healing others. And you ultimately do that by healing others. So your healing work leads you towards your success. You also need to go outside more. I know it's cold here where I'm at with all this green energy. You also need to nurture your heart chakra with this green energy. That's when we come into that sweetness here. And protecting yourself. And getting into your rituals where you're caring for yourself properly. This is a good energy. These are beautiful. Let me do just one collective card for both. How would they come together, Spirit? These two spirit beings. How do they come together, angels? How do they come together is what I'm going to pop out. They have to surrender. Spirit says they have to surrender. They have to surrender to Spirit with the divine source there with the masculine energy. They also have to surrender to themselves and to their feelings and be honest, right? And they have to surrender to each other. I think that's the hardest part, is surrendering to each other, right? Capacity to love. Both believing in the capacity to love. The capacity and the love between each other, you know? Believing in that power of love. Believing that they have it within themselves to give. Not only to each other, but to themselves, right? Trusting in the love. I think that's the idea of trusting in it. And then that's also to being empowered, the solar plexus. So trusting the gut feeling, trusting the intuitions, being able to discern properly that the love is there. But that surrender card too, that's the hardest part. I'm going to be honest with you. That's the hardest part. Is surrendering to the love, but surrendering to each other is the hardest part. That's the lesson here. The love is there. Will you surrender to it, right? All right, this was fun. I'll do these from time to time, and I'm going to get back to my other readings probably next week, but I've been just tired and trying to keep my energies up. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see each other again soon. Take care.